And then I once heard a man say, he's like, dude, you're going to survive, bro. There's no getting out of this. Nothing's going to happen to you. And it just blew me out of my physical being.
My goal is to meet as many people on this planet as possible, people that are positive, people that have more time to create than to be critical, more time to hustle than they have to hate, and they want to actually add strategy and techniques that are proven to grow their business so that they can take care of their family and their church.
Tim, how you doing, my friend?
Good to see you.
Good to see you, buddy.
You're looking good. Now you got a haircut and then you restyled it a little bit more now right now.
Well, I'll be able to tell you more. I'll tell you more about the haircut tomorrow, but I got to keep it on the down low for everybody else. Thank you for that beautiful opening and introduction. It's very nice of you, Tim, and I love you to death. I've always had a very kindred. I think a lot of people probably have this special connection with you, but I know I have, and I know Elena loves you to death. So I appreciate you having me on tonight.
Thank you. Grant, one of the things that reason I want to talk to just you tonight, last week we had Deepak Chopra and two others, and then other weeks we had sometimes 3 or 4 people, is because it's amazing how life has raised you up as this international leader. I was telling the story the other day that I was in Marbella, Spain, and I was just going through the nice area where they have all the yachts that you've seen.
So beautiful there.
And a guy literally came out of a restaurant, and he said to me, "Are you the guy from Grant Cardone?" That's how he said it. And I said, "Yes." He says, "Oh my gosh, I love this Grant Cardone." And we begin the dialogue, and then Grant,
he didn't know it's Grantino Cardone.
He didn't know all the details about me. He just knows that he had seen me on the 10X platform. Then the same thing happened when I was in Dubai. I was just rolling through the airport, and these 2 businessmen came up, and these guys happened to be from Switzerland. So I started to think to myself, this thing has really gone worldwide. When you think about it, a young guy from Louisiana loses your father at 10 years of age, comes from a middle-class family, 5 kids, a mother who's doing her best. You're the youngest. To have this worldwide platform is unusual. It doesn't happen often. And I know you know it, but sometimes we don't know it because we're living it.
Yeah.
And so from the outside, I get a different perspective because in just being at the last conference in Las Vegas and
by the way, thank you for being there. Thank you so much for coming as a peer of mine to be there and support me. And then for me to have you there and say, "Hey, Tim, pop up on stage." So, because there's not very many people you can just throw in front of 12,000 people and say, "Go roll it out." And you always do.
No, thank you for that. And the reason for being there is because I believe when a woman or a man is having their time, real friends need to just stand next to them. It's not even what do I get? How does this help me? Doggone it, stand next to the person. And that is why I showed up, is just to stand next to you and not even like say, "Hey, look at me, I'm here," but just to show up because somehow, some way, life went ding and said, "Grant, you went through all this stuff from 15 to 25. You were wondering and wandering, trying to find yourself. And then it started to emerge."
Yeah.
So
it doesn't feel like it went ding.
How's it feel?
I know a lot of your history and some of those guys. The phenomenal thing about the 10X movement is that it was really literally created It wasn't written. It wasn't produced. It wasn't a break on TV or radio. One of the proudest things in my life is that was made. It was created out of an idea, and then more than just the idea, like I pushed that thing into society. You know, I really there's number of ideas that I've had over my career that I've had to push that were not either the idea was too new or I called it the wrong thing, or I presented it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Or rather than selling it, I shoved it down people's throats, you know?
Yeah.
The 10X movement really, it was almost like, because the first business I had, Tim, was this idea that I would change the automobile industry. I was in an industry that I hated. And I hated it just because, look, you grew up in Compton. I grew up in Lake Charles, right? If I grew up in Compton, I'd have probably been with the gangs. Mm-hmm. And I'd have figured out how to run a gang better. And I'd been 25 years old. I'd been out pitching gangs. Guys, there's another way to do this thing, man. Guys.
Oh, yeah.
We could get arrested, man. We could get shot. Let's make some money. Let's make some real money. I would have figured that out because I had that thing. And so, but, I grew up in Lake Charles, Louisiana. There weren't any gangs. It wasn't cool to be in a gang. You either worked in the refineries or you didn't work. And the only job you could get was a sales job because there was no salary. And I just come out of college. I didn't want to be a salesman. I would have actually found more street cred in being a gangster than a salesman. Yeah. But that's the only job I could get, because to get a refinery job, you had to know somebody in the unions.
Let's go there for a second. Some things in life you decide, some things you discover.
Yeah.
You're telling me right now, you discovered this 10X life. It's not like you sat one day, and imagined it, huh?
Well, the funny thing is, and the reason I brought you back to the sales thing is because I've had ideas my whole life that weren't popular. And when I went through the car sales thing, I hated it. And embracing the disgust and literally I had this terrible experience in it. Yeah. How long it took, what I was asked to ask people, how people looked at me. They viewed me as a hustler and a scammer and a sales guy. And I hated all that so much. I ended up embracing that. And it became a business where I showed people a better way. Rather than just complaining about an industry, I said, hey, there's a better way to do this. And it actually became a business for me.
Oh, yeah.
But even though it made me some money, it never really caught on. I mean, I changed the car business, actually. I don't talk about this much, but I changed the whole industry. But I heard a man say once, he's like, if you change one person's life, man, you've made a difference. And I thought about that. It was catchy. Mm-hmm. But there was a problem I had with it. I'm like, dude, I got to change more than one person's life or one industry. And so the 10X thing was born out of 2008, very similar to what we're going through today. I was terrified. I'm scared today about what's happening in the world. And the 10X movement was just a discovery that, like, hey, dude, I'm operating on too little stuff. My think's too small. So it was a discovery. It was a discovery to solve a problem for me, though. This wasn't going to be a hit movie. I
like that you just told us that you admit that you're scared.
Yeah.
Right now. And if I could just interject this.
Yeah.
See, what a lot of people don't understand is somebody's backstory on why they're so doggone resilient. And I remember when Magic Johnson was going through some trouble, and he said, Tim, people don't understand that I've been through this, I've been through that, I've been through this. And you remember the story when we were a kid, because you were, brought to church as a kid, and so was I. There was this guy named David, and he fought Goliath. The whole idea was, I killed a lion, I killed a bear, I could take down him. So I think some people, Grant, don't know that you had to kill some lions, some bears, and that's why you think you could take Goliath.
Yeah, well, maybe more for me, it's more been like I've been eaten by the bear and the lion. And now I'm like, dude, nothing can happen to me.
Okay, I got you.
So for me, it's been losing the battles and discovering. You know, I was brought up on survival, the kind of survival where you're just scratching through. And then I once heard a man say, he's like, dude, you're going to survive, bro. There's no getting out of this. Nothing's going to happen to you. And it just blew me out of my physical being. It freed me from some Lake Charles, middle class, physical 5'8", limitations, lost battles. It freed me for a second. I'm like, oh wow, I am going to survive. There's nothing that can happen to me if I go broke. And immediately the calculation, it was very much like a mathematical formula for me. Like, oh, 1 + 1 = 2, bro. And it is never going to equal freedom.
Yes.
Adding one customer at a time, going to speak at one event, changing the lives of 12 people. Like, you cannot make a difference at this level. And that was really the 10X, the birthing of the 10X movement.